Hello and welcome to special edition Barbie Recharge. My name is Barbie. I'll be your instructor today. Today for class, you need a squishy ball, so a Pilates type ball, as well as your yoga tune-up balls. You don't need all the sets, but I do recommend if you're invested in your mobility that you eventually collect all three sizes. They're good for different things. So we're going to get started and we're going to trade in our heels for some Birkenstocks by the end of this. So I'm going to kick off my heels because these are the most uncomfortable shoes and probably not that good for your feet. And we're going to start with I'm going to put my balls down. Start with your feet hip width distance apart, soften your knees, just kind of let all that tension, all the stress, anything you're holding on to, let that go. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, lower your arms down. Do that again. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, lower your arms down one more time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Take a side stretch. And then go the other way. A little lateral flexion of the side body. And then I'm going to turn in profile so you can see me. We're going to do a little squat check. So bring your feet hip width distance apart. I like to take my fingertips to my hip creases. Push your hips back. And if you can see, it's hard with my long blonde locks to see my knees and feet. Look down and notice where your knees are in relationship to your ankles. Are your knees really far forward? Do your heels even lift up in squats? Shift your hips back, stand up, engage your glutes, shift your hips back, and just notice how your body is moving. Notice the connection between your feet and the floor. You'll notice in our Alkalign classes, we never wear shoes. If you do have a specific issue with your feet and you have to wear shoes, that's totally fine. But we do try to give our feet a little recess. They come out of the structured footwear and they get to come out and play. And I want you to pay attention to the connection between your feet and the floor. You have 4 more counts. We're just doing some squats as a check. We're going to come back to this. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, come on down to the ground in an all fours position. So place your hands under your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Take an inhale, look up. Exhale, flex your spine. Just notice how things are sliding and gliding or not. I always say you want your body to operate like it's driving over a freshly paved road versus one that has a ton of potholes, right? Much easier on your body if you slide and glide through life versus herk and jerk. Okay, and then come back to neutral. Draw your abdominals in, tuck your toes, and lighten or lift your knees. Notice how this feels on your feet. If you have really tight toes or really tight ankles, sometimes this position is a little tight. And also try to get the distribution of weight across the entire transverse arch, so you're not putting more weight into your big toe. That can cause a lot of issues with your feet, bunions, all sorts of things like that. And if this doesn't work for you at all, you can also try, if you have the mobility in your ankles, you can try pressing your shins down and lifting up. You have 4 more counts. 3, 2, and 1. Tuck your toes under, pike up into a downward dog, and then walk your hands in towards your feet and grab a set of your toted balls. I'm going to use the small set. I usually like the small or the medium. We're going to do some foot rolling. So we're going to start on your right foot, and you'll see me play with my watch. It's only because I like to get things even or roughly even side to side. Roll the length of your foot. So if you know anything about Barbie, it's that she's been wearing high heels her whole life. And so this foot roll is because I feel sorry for her that she's wearing heels. Back in the day, I used to wear heels a lot when I worked in an office. And I even remember running to the bus stop in my heels. And I can't imagine what that did to my feet. Probably the reason I had plantar fasciitis and lots of other stuff. Now my favorite footwear are my Birkenstocks. So that really spoke to me in the Barbie movie when she trades her heels for the Birkenstocks. I fully support that. Your footwear is really important. Okay, and then put the ball of your foot down and put your heel right between the balls. Soften your knee, and then you can either stand here or you can stand here, and you're going to kind of wiggle a little bit side to side. I like this with the 2 balls because it gets a little massage right here. And the inner and outer part of my foot feels pretty good. Just notice how that feels for you. It doesn't take a long time to roll, but just making a small investment in it really makes a huge difference. All right, got 5 more seconds here. And then we're going to switch feet. All right, go ahead and switch feet. We're spending about 90 seconds on each side. So roll the length of your foot. And if you discover a spot that you feel like needs a little bit more TLC, feel free to stop, pause. You can pause the recording. You can linger a little bit longer. You can come back to this spot. This is just sort of an overview and just an opportunity to have some guidance as you roll, because I know that sometimes it's hard to carve out time to do it on your own. It's not hard. It's just we get busy with life, and sometimes it's just more fun to be under the guidance of somebody else. So with the 2 balls, you can turn your foot in, you can turn your foot out. Sometimes I'll get the outside of my foot here. But just notice how you distribute your weight, even on your standing foot. Are you turning in? Are you turning out? You tend to sit more forward in the balls of your feet. Again, that can put a lot of pressure on the joints of your toes. So if you do have any foot issues, reach out. Let's look at your alignment. Sometimes you just have something's tight in your body and a little locked up, and it changes the way you stand or walk. And then it becomes some sort of repetitive use issue because we take a lot of steps in a day. Okay, and then put the ball right between your heels. Soften through your knee, just wiggle a bit side to side. That feels really good, especially on this side. So little foot roll. We're gonna go back and check your squats and see if that little bit of rolling you did for each foot makes a difference. Okay, so set the balls to the side, bring your feet hip width distance apart, hands to your hips, push your hips back as you sit your hips down, and then stand back up. I just feel like I'm sliding and gliding a little bit better. I notice I can get my hips a little bit further back, and I definitely feel more connected to my feet. So just notice how that feels for you. Last one, come all the way down. Come into that all fours plank position, tuck your toes. Again, try to evenly distribute the load across the whole transverse arch. You're not leaning into your big toe. Tuck your toes, pull your abdominals in. So notice if you have a little bit more ease in this position now that you've rolled your feet. If you have really tight toes, I've seen some people who are so stiff in the toes, they're basically like this. That's not fun, nor is it good for your metatarsal. So rolling your feet, giving your feet that little TLC and just your brain's opportunity to connect with your feet is really important. You have 4 more counts. 3, 2, set your knees down. And actually take the squishy ball. We're gonna do some abdominal rolling. This is also inspired by Barbie because I think a lot of expectations on Barbie, and she probably holds a lot of stress in her gut. So come on down to your abdominals. Now the squishy ball has a lot of give to it, but if you're new to this, it can feel really, really intense. So what you want to do to connect brain to body is that you want to inhale, tighten your abdominals like you're bracing against a sucker punch, and then exhale and let that ball absorb into your abdominals. Do that again. Inhale, tighten. Exhale, release. So that just lets your brain know that the ball is friendly. It's not here to hurt you. You can connect brain and body through your breath. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then when you get comfortable with this, sometimes you can even take some of it out of your shoulders and lay your forehead down. I really like just a gentle rock side to side. I am someone, being Barbie and all, that holds a lot of tension in my gut, and I have digestive issues and all sorts of things. People hold stress different places. Some people hold it in their neck, low back, jaw. I hold it in my gut. So if this is really tender for you, there might be something locked up physically, emotionally in your gut. Your gut is your second brain, as they say. It's true. Trust your gut. If your gut is really sensitive here, trust the process and just be very, very gentle. It doesn't have to hurt to work. A little rock side to side. And then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to flip over and get the back side. Okay, so again, if this feels good for you, hit pause, linger, do this a little bit more, or return to it, later today, later this week, whenever you feel like it. Put the ball between your shoulder blades, and then you're going to hold your head with your hands, not with the intention of pulling your head forward, but just kind of lay your head back. lift your hips up and just push and pull. Oh no, my hair is getting caught. The ball. Wardrobe malfunction. Push and pull with your feet. So this is option 1 with the squishy ball. Option 2, you can also do the standing against the wall. Option 2, for a little bit more intensity, is to take a set of toted balls. If you're new to this, I recommend the big set. Put them horizontally across your back. Get your hair out of the way. And then you can hold your head for support. Again, you're not pulling your head forward, not pulling your neck out of alignment. And then push and pull. Try not to get your hair in the way. And notice how that feels. For a lot of people, it's too intense to do it on the floor. So when you're progressing up to the harder, the denser balls versus the squishy ball, you might want to start on the wall, like almost like in a wall sit. You roll up and down the wall. But this feels so good. It's called the rolling pin, and it just kind of smooths out all the kinks. And we get many kinks throughout the day. Oh, feels so good. Again, this is just a quick overview to inspire you to get the balls out and do some rolling and just notice how good it feels when you slow down and invest in your self-care. But if it's too short of a snippet for you, then you can continue on however you'd like. Okay, I'm going to take the balls out, and then we're going to roll one last thing. So take a ball underneath your left side and lay it on your side. Reach your arms up above your hips and take a stretch for the side body. You can lengthen your legs, or if it feels better for you to bend your knees. This helps a little bit more with my balance. Take an inhale. And exhale, breathe into your side body. So one thing that helps manage stress is being able to breathe well. Not just the short stress breathing so you get oxygen in and out of your body, but also really being mindful about your breath. This is one area that I'm definitely still a work in progress. Take an inhale. And exhale. Do that again. When you inhale, imagine your ribs expanding 360 degrees. Good. And exhale. And then we're going to switch it. So I'm going to roll over so I don't have to turn my backside to you. Okay, so drape your body over the ball. Reach your arms up. Imagine you're like side stroke swimming. Take an inhale. Expand your ribs. Exhale. Inhale. Expand your ribs. Breathe into the front, back, side body. And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. So if you're thinking like, what am I rolling here? Nothing. You're not actively rolling anything, but you're creating length in your side body, which for me, actually, I feel a nice little stretch on my hip as well as getting the benefit of breath. Take another inhale. Good. And exhale. And then come on up. Turn around, go back to that cat-cow. Hands on your shoulders, knees under your hips. Take an inhale, look up. Exhale, flex your spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Just notice with a little bit of abdominal rolling, a little bit of posterior, a little bit of side rolling, if your body is sliding and gliding a little bit more. And then one of my favorite things also, we didn't do this in the check, is just the wag the tail, moving your hips side to side. That can feel really good. And then tuck your toes, pike your hips up. Notice how your feet feel here. A little calf stretch, or you walk your dog, walk your hands into your feet, ditch your heels, and go pick out your Birkenstocks. Thanks for joining.